Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. This is going to be an interesting video for you. I hope I represent what I'm meaning to say, and I say it well, and I make my grannies proud. I first want to start off by saying that I am not offended by this question, proposal, suggestion, discussion, whatever this is. But I got a comment on YouTube the other day from somebody, might I tell you, is a fake account. No name, fake name, under a male, but they say they're a woman. And no subscribers, no videos, no nothing. So let me go ahead and tell you right now that 99% of the time I don't take anything from those type of accounts very serious, okay? Because people that don't want you to know who they are, well, they don't carry a lot of salt. So, but it does raise an interesting discussion on what we're going to talk about. So the proposal within is, do I work like a man? Do I dress like a man? And how does my husband feel about these things? Well, first of all, ma'am, let me tell you right now that my personal relationship with my family and my husband is none of your business. What? What did she just say? I just said, let me repeat it real nicely, because manners matter. My personal relationship with my husband, with my family, with my nana, with my children is not your business. There's a lot of things that I do not film on my farm because my personal life, my children's protection, I don't feel it's anybody's business. I know there's a lot of bloggers and vloggers and people out there that show everything they do. I'm not trying to hide things from people. It's just none of your business. So I'm going to simply leave that at that. I have been with my husband for 22 years. I come from a family, you need to understand a little bit of background. I come from a family of my daddy and my grandfather, ooh, yes, who are and who were extremely supportive of their wives and their daughters and their mamas for being hard-working women. Now, I'm not going to get into the debate of gender roles, and I'm not going to get into the debate of what women should or should not do or wear. You know, it is 2018. I just want to tell you right now, my Nana and Papa and grandmothers and grannies and whatnots worked very hard to have the rights that they have and worked very hard to have the things that they have. And I will tell you right now, most of them coming from nothing, it took both people working like a man to get there. They don't apologize, they don't explain, and I double dog dare you to say something like that to my Nana. Ooh, that would not hold well for you. But I'm not offended because I find it interesting the fact that I'm wearing a periwinkle beanie, purple coveralls, chicken sloggers, and actually some Carmex, which gives a light feminine sheen to my lips. That someone would say and suggest that why I work like a man and I dress like a man. Personally, I would say that this would probably offend a lot of women. I do what needs to be done to get my job done. My role here on this farm is the farmer. We did not move here because I wanted to move here. We moved here and took on this life because we wanted to move here. My husband works a very tedious, hard job outside the farm. We often get up between 4 and 5 in the morning, and I don't see him for another 12 hours. When he hits the driveway, the first thing he says is, what do we need to do? What's the agenda? I get a text in the morning and afternoon and often a phone call midday saying, what's going on? What are we doing tonight? What needs to be done? What are we doing this weekend? What projects do we have? Do I need to move hay? What's going on? If I have to go collect eggs and do things, guess what? My husband works like a woman and will unload the dishwasher for me. My husband makes the best mashed potatoes on the planet. Sure does. He will peel them, he will slice them, he will put them in the water, he will boil them down like boiling cabbage down right now, and he will absolutely mix them to perfection to make the most delicious mashed potatoes. I haven't told him that's the job of a woman, but frankly, if I did, ma'am, I don't really think he would care, because what's important is that the job gets done. Now, I think it's really interesting that we have this discussion in 2018, because if you look at different cultures, if you look at Appalachia, if you look at native cultures, you're going to find that oftentimes the men went away to hunt or weren't around. The women held the important roles most of the time, and in Cherokee culture, the women were the homesteaders. They were the farmers. We're kind of proud of that. If you look back in a lot of Appalachian roles as well, Appalachian families in traditional ways, we see pictures of staunch pictures. You know, folks would get their pictures made probably once every 5 years if they were lucky, and they would sit dressed in their best and hold their Bibles and do their things. But I'm going to tell you what, if you think that's how that woman looked and dressed every single day, I highly recommend you start picking up some history books and looking and thinking and doing a little bit of exploring perhaps in your history as to exactly what the women did, what the women wore. And you know, I want to just say right now, you know, I really sincerely doubt that they answered to too many people about how they looked or what they wore, how they dressed. Most people in the community were more impressed by the fact that you were self-sufficient as possible and that you could add to and have input and gain into a community. I don't think they worried too much about whether, you know, you were wearing a skirt that day. Sure, in social rounds they did, but on your farm, you worked like a man. Getting the kids up, washing the kids, boiling the water, making the meals, feeding the chickens, throwing the hay, milking the cow, making the butter, sewing the shirts, chopping the wood, bringing it all in, working through weather, making the bread, cornbread actually. We could go on endlessly of the tedious work that our grandmothers did. You know, I'd really hate to go to Paris Island or to West Point or anywhere around the country, across the seas, and walk up to a woman who's serving us and ensuring that we have our freedoms, and to ask her, are you a little put off today because you work like a man? Do you think you're attracted to your husband today because you're military? And well, historically that might be perceived as working like a man. So I say to you very kindly, not offensively, I highly recommend that you look back in and on history. And I would say that most of the women that were considered in roles of leadership didn't think about these things. They worked to get the job done, regardless of what it looked or sounded like. Whether it was working like a man, they were getting it done. And that, ma'am, is my answer to you as to, do I feel it's important or not, whether I think I look, talk, dress, or work like a man? The answer to that is yes, and I'm proud of it. See you on the next video.